I just Big Mama got it on. Y'all listen to Break It Down show with Pete Turner. Jolly Young Guerrero. Is that the boxer? Oh, Johnny. This is Jay Mohr. You're listening to one of my all-time favorite podcasts, The Break It Down Show. You want to break it down? Break it down.
Right here.
And now, The Break It Down Show with John and Pete.
Jay Mohr gave us our original bumper.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I love. Hey, everybody, go listen to the Break It Down Show. Is probably the opening of, we're 130-something episodes, dude. It's probably the opening of 50 episodes. Mm-hmm. You gave that to us on the More Stories episode with Dean Del Rey. And I had bought something on Amazon. Of course, I use the Amazon banner at jmohr.com. Go do that. He read the, hey, you bought car parts for your son. That's great. Here's your bumper, Johnny. Hey, everybody, go listen to the Break It Down Show. The next paragraph of my email was, hey, and we think it'd be great if you'd be on the show. And so he reads this, and we think it'd be great if you'd be on the show. Not going to happen, Johnny. I'm a busy man. Those are the words you said.
We hadn't met.
I know. We hadn't met. We hadn't, you know.
This is my third appearance. Hold on. You guys drive me to drink.
Jesus.
This episode of the Break It Down Show brought to you by Budweiser. Clean, crisp, refreshing. Always time for a good bud.
El Rey de Beers. Yes.
Where are you from, Hilliard?
I was born in Detroit. Lived in New York.
I'm sorry?
I was born in Detroit.
No, I heard you. I'm
lived
like
in New
incredibly sorry.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse.
I'm with you on that.
Poor Detroit. People don't realize Detroit was the heartbeat and the aorta of the like all the Great Lakes. You came over from Europe, the St. Lawrence River, you hit the Great Lakes, you hit Detroit. Like that's every fucking export we have came from there. And then at some point they just went, stores closed, go to Long Beach.
Yeah.
Go around. Go around. Bro, no, this is Buffalo. Detroit's closed too. Go around. We dug a fucking canal. What else do you got? No, we didn't. We Panamanians. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I grew up in the Bay. I'm from the East Side.
Look at you.
Palo Alto.
Yeah.
You're the most successful you ever imagined.
I am.
It's amazing. You accept it. Everybody always goes, wow. It's like, no, look. What was the first thing I said to you, Petey, when I came out of the parking structure? You said, how are you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
You want us to juggle my balls.
Well, and
So the second thing.
First thing after that.
I said, look at us.
Yeah, look at us. Yeah, look at us.
We're like next to the Oprah lot doing a podcast with old friends. It's great.
It's fantastic.
And eating cookies.
And you may not realize this, but your show and Hilliard's show, we're all like in the same little triangle family of shows because Krista's been on all of our shows. He got her first. We passed her around, and she's a fantastic guest.
I love Christopher.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
She called me and said, I sound like a stoned teenager on your podcast. I go,
That's
no,
what I
you
love
don't.
about her.
And then I listened to it. I go, actually,
Yeah, you do.
But she broke down that writer room, and I got obsessed with like, because she said when you're a writer, you have to remove yourself from the equation. You have to think for the other person. Because when she took over Grey's Anatomy, as you already know this, Hilliard and Pete and Jen, she had to now write as the gal that ran Shonda, yeah. And I go, so it's like being a tactile actor. It's a writer through your hands. Because if I go play a part, not like De Niro, who's just De Niro and everything. It was a series of ticks. Like, I don't know, repeat what you said. Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said. Repeat what you said. You have to remove yourself and become the person. So the writer has to do it too. So it's I never made that connection before. Krista Vernoff, who everybody I told was coming on the podcast, got excited because Mr. Big from Sex and the City, Christopher North, was coming on.
Right.
I'm like, no, Krista Vernoff, not Christopher North. Did I lose you guys?
No, it's
No, we're right there with you. We like her better than him, too.
Mr. Big.
Yeah, she's terrific, man. She's just so much fun.
And her best friend is Peter Page.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
You guys, your 100th episode with Sly Stone was not only a great episode, but if people want to listen to the Break It Down show, go right to that one. Because the dance you do with, it's like herding cats, but the value of the man, and the catalog which he's shared with us through a lifetime is so valuable to us.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose him. You don't want to spook the thoroughbred. But he's literally saying some kooky things, and you guys were experts. And the Rob Bell episode, you guys were just experts because I think what makes you guys so great is St. Francis of Assisi helped me understand rather than be understood. Like when you and Rob Bell and you guys were talking about, like going into somewhere else, and I think it was Pete that said it's like you're rearranging the living room furniture in their mind. They don't want you to. They have to show you the furniture and suggest maybe that could go over there, and you follow them in.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
And you guys do very good at taking turns.
That makes my heart feel good, Jay Mohr. Thanks, man.
Break It Down Show. This is Jay Mohr, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show because you're smart, motherfucker. I give you a
That's
bunch.
a true statement.
You're going to have to tighten this episode up.
You
Yes,
know
sir.
what? I actually stole something from Jay, too. Yeah, I love how you maneuver. I hate to use the word maneuver because it sounds sneaky. But, motherfucker, you maneuver. When you have guests on, you're like, no, promote your fucking show. Promote your Twitter, whatever.
Yeah, you teach
And he
people to
just
be
keeps
better promoters.
repeating. That episode he did with you, man, I was like getting teary-eyed. You kept saying, and don't forget, yada, yada, Pete Turner, blah, blah, blah. I was like, God damn. But you
Thank
did
you.
it so smooth where it was like, guys, go fucking listen to this dude.
Am I going to be the only guy to tell the black guy it's smooth?
What it is.
You know what I'm really doing? Is I'm looking at my notes, so that's my filler. As I go, what the fuck was that question I wanted to ask Pete? So I'm like, hey, don't forget, everybody, Break It Down Show. You can order that and subscribe. And I'm just reading, what does he mean, fill gaps?
Yeah.
There's
Thank
there are some occasions where you don't want to look behind the curtain. So we're going to ignore that's what that was. No, seriously, I think the thing that it is, though, and probably and I feel amazing that you would see this the same way and appreciate this, is because we want to know. We want to know. Yeah. We have a curiosity. You have a curiosity that's carried you through 300 conversations of people where what you brought out of them was something we, as listeners, wanted to hear because you truly wanted to know those things. And that's really, I think, if there's something that binds us, it's not just Krista, it's not just everybody who's been mutual.
But you guys do it too. And Pete will text me weird, like, other level spy shit. Like, I like that low ego, high ego game you did on Jim Jeffries, man. I'm like,
right.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. But
And
you did it, and you did it naturally.
And then when he identified it, when he explained to me what it was as an interrogation tactic, I go, when I'm doing it in real time now, I'm like, oh, this is it. And then I catalog it for later where I can take him down a peg.
Good.
Yes.
I think the best discernible skill you can have as a podcaster, for all podcasters, is can you make a K turn at 35 miles an hour on the 10 freeway? Because Margaret Cho was not going to give me any jokes.
Right.
None.
Yeah.
Not interested. And I love her, and I think she's phenomenal, and I know exactly how fucking talented she is. Wasn't having. So you grew up above an adult bookstore. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So, like,
check that one off the list.
No.
do they really like sell fists? Like, just play? And I go, yeah. You live. And then Gavin Newsom, mayor of San Francisco, 40 minutes about politics and art. We talked about Cy Twombly and the lieutenant governor.
Interesting.
You got to just change the gears.
Yeah. You got to find that spot.
Somebody else
That's
talks.
true.
Your podcast, and I'm hogging it.
We just got finished recording an episode with Greg Proops, and I will say that you were very influential in that episode as well, Jay, because as soon as he sat down, we said, you're from San Carlos, California? What's the last show you saw at the Circle Star Theater? And pow! We were gone.
Running.
Gone.
People want to tell you things. Greg Proops, anything he says in his podcast is like, I have the app on my phone.
Yeah.
And when I'm driving like cross country, I'll just do 3 of those in a row.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe how fucking smart he is.
That'll take you all the fucking way through New Mexico.
Yeah. He did an episode in Christchurch, New Zealand, and he's explaining to people, first of all, it's full. Like, I'm sweating out fucking Las Vegas this weekend. This guy's got people waiting for him in New Zealand, which is, as David Tell says, as far away as you can go without being on your way back.
Yeah. That's right.
And he's explaining to people there why the Maori tribe is in Congress and Senate, because out of all the natives, they're the ones that didn't take up arms. They went, oh, I'll see you in court, dude. And that they won.
Yeah.
So instead of like getting rifles and standing on porches and hiding behind rocks, they went, oh, I'm calling my lawyer. You can't. And this is like 100 years ago. They're lawyering up. And that's why there's guys with stovepipe hats and tattooed faces called senator in New Zealand.
Interesting.
I thought it was, yeah. And Greg's a great dude. And you know what I learned from Greg Proops? Never back out of a mistake. Double down, make it work.
Double down.
He was doing one of his podcasts, and he wanted to say syllable, I think, and he said cylinder instead. And it tied into Greg Fitzsimmons being on my podcast saying his comics. He realized we have to be perfect.
Right.
And I'm like, no, we don't. He goes, no, you do. And like 55 out of an hour, you make a mistake, they're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like they're mocking. It's like you're in the schoolyard. The audience is mocking you, and they'll come up to you at a meet and greet, go, you had a hard time with that line, and you want to just fight everybody. So
You had 57 great minutes.
right,
People in stitches.
but they remember it, and then I remember Proops on his podcast. He'll go like, that's a 5-cylinder word. Well, 5-cylinder words. We should actually talk about those later. Cylinder words, you guys. And he just went in and he made up some shit about cylinder words, and then he just kept talking until he could land syllable again.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Their work here is done. I just got into action. Do you know that as much of a Mohr as I am, I hadn't really ever
So you were just telling me
digested action until a couple weeks ago.
How do you like
tweeted
it?
something.
Or don't?
I fucking love that show.
Could it be
love
possible?
that show so much.
Me too. Yeah. Could it be possible? It's an actual. Is it an A+? I don't think anything is, but it's close.
It's very, very strong. It's very, very strong.
That writing staff was out of their mind. Like Don Rio, Jimmy Vallely, Ron Zimmerman, like just the Hamburger Brothers. They would just hand you pages and then allowing me to ad lib and having the back and forth trust.
Man.
Because once you lock in what you're doing, you go, oh, like if something's not working, you should have a lead that goes, no, I know. And then they just go, all right. And then you just say it, and they go, okay, good.
Man.
Everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, that's terrific.
That's rare.
Ileana Douglas, man.
She'll do your podcast.
She
She's
is-
great. She's a great gal.
Oh, please.
Her book's
She
phenomenal.
is my-
I blame Dennis Hopper.
I-
It's all her
That's a
show
great
business.
title.
Yeah, it's all her show
Yeah.
business stories. Like doing Bella Mafia and the director, like they're just covered in blood in nightgowns, just wiping blood off the floor. But nobody's Italian except her.
What the hell? Yeah, she is so good in that show.
Have you ever had a 3-fingered Mexican oil job? No. I have.
I am one of 6 people.
Have you ever had a Dominican face hat? We had to come up with things that were
Yeah.
sexual sounding
Face
that would
hat.
clear the censors because the writer Hilliard didn't write anything. The guy that Peter Dragon hired. So like I beat him. I beat him up. I go to his house to beat him up, and he's jerking off on his couch. It's me and Buddy Hackett. I kick his door down.
What?
And he's on the couch with like a mom blanket.
Take a moment,
It's in the
listeners, to understand that Jay and Buddy Hackett busted
down
down
doors.
somebody's
Door
door
kickers.
so they could whoop his ass. He had ass whooping coming.
And also keep in mind, I convinced a censor at Fox named Roland to film a guy jacking off under a blanket at 9:00 on a Thursday. Just you don't see his, you just
There
see
was
the
no
blanket.
mistake. There was no mistake as
None.
to what he was doing.
And then I go to beat him up, but I'm not sure where to put my hands. And then I grab his hand and I go, "Ugh," like in the middle of this, like you sold the script to 2 different people, like. And then that scene, we took a day because the first 19 times through the door, I fell on the ground laughing. Because that kid was
When
so.
you get to that giggle spot, you cannot stop.
But you know it's
You
coming.
yeah.
Like with Bill Fichtner in Go, when he's naked and he shakes my hand, he wants me to sell. I go, this is going to take 6. Just so you guys know, 6 takes is my estimate before I'm able to speak.
Yeah.
So then I grab
That's
the guy.
when you know you have
That's
something,
good.
right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like knocking him around, and then I leave, and I look at Buddy Hackett. I go, take care of him. And then Buddy Hackett takes out a gun and puts it under his chin. He goes, you're not going to really kill me, are you? He goes, no, but Petey's going to think you're dead. He goes, what are you even talking about? He goes, when you leave here, when you're finished up with your editoire, go down to the William Morris Agency and sign up. No one will ever hear from you again. It's like so inside back then. William Morris was like, we want to die.
Ah, shit.
And now everybody else's
That
agency.
whole show is so inside that even if you're not inside, you go, God damn, that's funny. And I don't even know why that's funny.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
It's interesting you say that because that was like the thing. Like it was too inside to last. We did 8 episodes and we bounced. But it's like, I don't think so because everybody, this is where I get really confused. And Pete, you help me with this. Like, well, shit, you're in show business. Everybody wants to be in show business. Everybody's
Everybody.
fascinated by show business.
That's why
So if-
dentists are giving you millions of dollars to make a movie when they never made a movie before.
Right.
You know,
and you
yeah.
tell them, like, you're probably not going to get it back. Like, but my name will be up there for 2 seconds. Yes. Okay. So, but everybody is fascinated with show business. They read tabloids. They want to be in show business. Nobody wants to be in an emergency room. And those shows always go. Speaking of Krista, those shows always go.
Always.
So which world do you want behind the curtain? show business, making movies, starlets. Keanu Reeves is on it. Sandra Bullock and me make a sex tape. That's a great episode. Or do you want, somebody's kid to die in a very special episode of Blossom Hospital? So I don't know. It's not too inside, I don't think.
Yeah, Dennis Miller's not too inside. You might. The fact that it's way out there oftentimes is funny. And the opposite end of that is Family Guy, where they're like, here's the inside joke. Everybody look at the joke now. And they do the joke 3 times over and over and over again.
Yeah, when they say Minnie Driver has like an enormous head.
Yeah.
And there's a cartoon. Half the people don't even know. This is not a knock on her. It's just reality. Half the people watching don't know who she is.
Yeah.
It's an 18 to 25 male demographic. They're like, so then they'll look her up and go, yeah, I guess it's a pretty big head.
Yeah.
But the joke is the
Meanwhile,
drawing.
the joke is still the joke.
The joke is this person has a fucking big head. There's a drawing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you?
I love action.
Yeah. Action was really, really.
Did you see the Sandra Bullock episode?
No, and here's the thing.
Damn, she's
is that
cool.
You're how many episodes you guys do?
We filmed 13. They aired 8, and the one that didn't air that I'm still mad about is the one with Ice Cube.
Really?
Because him and Hackett get into it, and it was all ad lib.
Jesus Christ! There's a
Ad-lib session between Buddy Hackett and Ice.
Can we watch it? Will you show it to
I
us?
can't find it personally, and I've been. I sound like Louis Guzman personally, Papa. I would love it because Ice Cube's straight out of Compton. He needs a secretary. Why is he so thirsty? I come back from some meeting and I go, "Where's George?" It was my daughter's name. It was like a 7-year-old girl. I go, "Where's Georgia?" And Jack Plotnick, who played my uber gay assistant, and he's a brilliant actor. He goes, "She's in your office with Ice Cube." And I grabbed him by the lip. He was always physical, Peter Dragon. Like, you left my daughter alone with a gangster rapper. And they let him go. And Hackett just takes his fucking gun out to walk in the room, just because there's a black guy in it. And I go in, and they're on the ground playing, like, literally checkers or like, Candyland.
Right.
And I go, all right, hi, guys. Hi. And then Ice Cube looks at Buddy Hackett and goes, what's with the heat? And then Buddy Hackett goes, I go, oh, sorry about that. We've been having a lot of problems lately with, and Hackett goes, blacks. and then that's all ad-libbed. And then I go, bats. He meant to say bats. And Hackett goes, black bats. It's a black.
Hilarious.
Black
Check out,
bats.
where did you see it? Where was it?
There's like 5 episodes on YouTube.
You can get them all on DVD
Yeah.
somewhere.
Okay.
Like, that's a box set that's happening. But yeah, just look it up on YouTube. You'll dig it.
Yeah, the thing
Man,
is,
we
though,
pushed.
the Sandra Bullock episode is one of the ones where it says, the content provider has had us extract this one.
You think that's because she's fucking in it?
Yeah.
My guy and her make a sex tape.
Really?
And I
Nice
just
work if you can get it.
Yeah.
not that you don't ever physically see us, but she had to go to her. She is the fucking coolest. And when a gal that's hot and then she's that cool, you go, oh, I thought like a 10 was a 10. And then the fact that you just went to a recording studio and went, oh, fuck me, Pete. Fuck me, you mother. You're like, now, all right, I got to redo my scale.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I never looked at
It
Sandra
just
Bullock.
fucked up the curve for everybody.
Right, and you never looked at her like, wow, if I can get with her. And then first, she's like as tall as me. She's in great shape. I open the door, and she headbutts my face. And it kicks me in the nuts. I fall down. I go, I didn't see you in my appointment calendar. And she goes, you son of a bitch. And she starts kicking my ass across the floor like I'm on my hands and knees. And she's holding a DVD like deep inside Sandra Bullock or something. And she goes, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. And she puts it in a DVD player. And the whole gag was, as we're fucking, I only call her Sandra Bullock from Speed. And she goes, and she's like, oh, Peter, yeah, oh, hey, puppy, can we turn off some of these lights? No, I want to see every inch of your body, Sandra Bullock from Speed. I just keep re-saying it. And her ad-libs, I go, this shows a whole new side of you. She goes, yeah, my insides. She's brilliant. Brilliant show, yeah. Well, thank you for that, Johnny.
Yeah, that show was fucking good, man.
Blacks. Black bats.
That's funny.
Buddy Hackett.
He was like a father to me.
Yeah.
I met him after I knew everything. It's like a classic kung fu. You know, the teacher keeps pouring the tea until it's overflowing. And the student goes, you know, this is overflowing. Oh, yeah, so why don't you empty it, and then we can get going.
Yeah.
So I met Hackett like, I don't know, 18 years into stand-up, and I was headlining nationally. I knew everything. And he just turned this old boy upside down, and everything I knew came out my ears. What was important stuck, and he would ask me questions like, what's your monitor on stage? And I'm like, I don't know what that is.
And he goes, your monitor is everything you're thinking except what you're saying right then. So if you're telling a story about your dog went to the bathroom on your neighbor's yard, your neighbor got all upset, like you know how all that goes, it just comes out of your mouth. So your monitor's 0, but there's the ice machine, that's really loud. How come they're not laughing? That waitress went by 4 times already. How much more time do I have? It's not getting the that's your monitor, all the things that are impeding your message.
Interesting.
And so I go, I would say 25. And he goes, that's pretty good. And I go, what's your monitor? Assuming he was going to say 0 because he was,
Because nothing gets in Buddy Hackett's way.
1,000 years old. He goes, 1.
Yeah.
And I go, 1? He goes, I got to know where the fire exits are. But after that, they get 100% and 99% the whole show.
Interesting.
He was very so giving and such a different human at that part of his life. Where like Ralphie May and him were super close. Jeff Ross and him were super close. And me, we were like father and son. And I know how that sounds, and I'm saying it freely. And he would just say where did you walk to when you went on stage? It was at the MTV Awards. And I went to the microphone. He goes, why? Now, when somebody asks you that, you got to stop and go,
why did I?
Analyze, huh?
Right.
I mean, because you know the answer is because that's where the job is.
Yeah.
That's where the amplified sound happens. I go, because that's where everybody walks. He goes,
yeah, that's why you should never go to the microphone. He goes, did you see where I walked?
and I didn't have the heart to tell him, no, I was trying to get high with the Wu-Tang Clan downstairs. Inspector Deck was just about to hand me a Philly, and then you called me, and I said, that's my Jewish daddy, I got to go.
Yeah, so you could show me where I was walking, where you were walking.
I walk in front of the microphone, and I keep walking. I go all the way to the other side of the stage, and I act like I know the guy. And I go, hey, good to see you. I shake his hand. The guy next to him put his hand up. And then you look up at the balcony, even if there isn't one, look up there and wave. And they don't think they got the good seats. And they're going to wave to you. He's looking at us and go to the other. Some guy in front paid for parking. He's with a date. And just tell him he looks nice. Nobody else can hear it but him. But he heard it. His date heard it. And then go behind the microphone. And then that whole room, kid, goes behind the microphone with you.
Interesting.
I have not walked to a mic since.
Wow.
God damn.
That was
Did
pre-
I have all teary-eyed type of
It
shit?
was
That's
pre-2000. I walk on stage, just like sometimes the mics were way up on the lip of the stage. I had a corporate show in New Orleans at the stage. You were there, so I had the fucking karate kick the mic out of the way. You remember that? Yeah. I walked on stage, I did a fucking spinning kick, but I had to make it look like I'm being cool. I'm gonna fucking kick the mic over. I don't give a shit. But it was, it's bad mojo now. I can't do it.
You got to walk in front of the mic.
Yeah, because then they're gonna come behind me.
Right. Yeah.
Or come there, get there with me. You know what I said.
Yeah.
Hackett was incredible.
At some point in my life, I'm going to extract the wisdom out of that and apply it to whatever I'm doing. And I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet what it is.
Yeah.
But there is something in there
There's
that
something
is
in
going to
there, sure.
remind me that, you know what, this is the time when you don't walk right to the mic. This is the time where you gather.
No, you
up.
never walk,
Yeah.
ever. There is never a time to walk right, unless you're at the Emmys and you got to get to the prompter and say
You
bounce.
got 30 seconds and shit, right?
You can't walk in front of a podium. You'll be in, fucking Neil Patrick Harris's lap. Which, by the way, personally, I'd be
It's
thrilled.
worse places. It's worse places. Now, what I'm saying is for everybody out there listening, whatever it is you don't realize is your mic. Everybody has the mic that they walk up to because that's where the job is.
Yeah.
And, at some point, we're all going to have that realization that, no, this is what Hackett was talking about. He knew it about the microphone. He knew it about you walking up on stage. But at some point, you have to walk into your room, whatever your room is, and gather everybody up and get everybody behind you before you get to work.
I was just thinking about an analogy for that. Was something that just happened recently. So, I'm doing the rewrite now on the Black Wall Street movie, right?
It's obviously a comedy.
and fucking total drama. But you'd be bad in this one role. Anyway.
By the way, that might be the funniest thing I'll say this entire podcast.
But check. So just it reminds me of where you're going, just in a slightly different way, but it feels like that. Usually, I write a fucking 30, 40-page outline before I write the script, right? Detailed as fuck. This particular script, I wrote this fucking 37-page outline, and I started writing the actual script, and I got to a point where I was like 6, 7 pages in, and I was like, I moved the outline away. and I started feeling the people. And I've never written a script like that, and I've written 40 of them. And I got to the point
People
where,
being the characters.
yeah, it just saddened me. It's like I went around the microphone. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
That's how I felt. And it's probably
But
the best
think
thing I've
about
ever
the
written in my
power
life.
of your writing, though, that you establish characters that at some point you had to abandon the schematic in your head
Yes.
And
and
they
let
took
those
you for the
characters
ride.
talk.
Yeah. And I would say like a little prayer to myself whenever I'd start to the fucking people who died or whatever, and I would just go. You know what I mean? It was just like a weird.
And the result is in production.
We're about to do the big table read and everything. We're about to go. It's
I mean,
$20
that's
million movie.
look at you.
know?
It's beautiful. I thought of it too. Like, if you have an office job, every day you go to your cubicle.
Mm-hmm.
There's some manager's office you pass
Mm-hmm.
that you're sort of friendly with. Hey, John, before I go to my office, do you need anything before I get going? No. Okay, just let me know. He's gonna go into the office with you.
Yeah, what
Just that's
difference are you going to make that day that you had no idea just because you stopped by?
it. Before I go into my office, do you need anything?
Yeah.
Anything you need today that maybe you haven't sent in an email or a text, and the guy's gonna go. First, they're gonna be very confused. Are you pregnant? And then if they anything they need, who are they gonna go to?
Yeah,
You.
right?
And then you go, will you leave me alone?
Yeah.
You're always coming in here asking. No. Yeah, Hilliard, that's cool. I can't wait for this. When's your table read?
Like 2 weeks.
Can I sit in?
I want you to be in there, motherfucker.
Okay.
Done.
Well, then I would have to
Perfect
sit in
role
then. Or unless I would Skype.
What is the role?
Gordon Gecko.
Will you
I'll
give us
pitch
a
it
little
to
bit? Okay.
John and Pete.
Hey, everybody, if you like the Break It Down show,
I can dig it.
And of course you do.
of course you do, hit that subscribe button.
John and Pete.
It helps us out.
Hey, if you're going to like the show on Facebook or on Twitter, it helps us out if you share the show so people can learn about it. So liking it is great. Sharing is even better.
Let's do some spy stuff.
Yeah, just
Let's
sneak
get
in
all
there.
our friends' phones and have them subscribe to the Break It Down show. Do it. Subscribe. Listen to the show. If you love the show, tell 5 of your friends. Or if you hate the show, tell 5 of your friends. Jay, can you hand me that water bottle over there by the fire?
Yeah, mine's in my shirt because I'm sweating like
In
Mike
the-
Tyson at a spelling bee.
In the work that I would do overseas, it's very much going in front of the mic. Because like if I want to find out like where are the bombs or what the vibe is, you don't start there.
Yeah.
You know, you start by going up to some little kid, and I learned the word in Arabic for wrench. And I shake the kid's hand, look him in the eye, you know, and then when he grabs my hand, I drop to my knee, and I'm like, Kamasha, you know, and everybody's like, it's hilarious, you know, and I'm working on trying to get people to see me.
It's like
something.
giving them a piece of candy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, without giving them a candy and
Yeah.
fucking them up because now every kid beats him up. It's like, you know, that's like, there's just a joke.
Now,
Everybody
what
likes
you
a
gave
joke.
him was a nickname, and now there's an Afghani teenager out there whose nickname is the wrench,
Yeah.
and he has to live up to it. 'cause
No, he likes
hey,
it because all he
you
does
know,
is finger
in the
fuck
village-
all day. Don't you know what they call me? You just hear fucking. He just goes around fingering people.
But it's the same thing, though. You have to take time to get the people to move with you because if you see me work, you're like, he's not working. He's just bullshitting with people, calling, you know, cracking jokes and stuff.
So you think?
Yeah, but it's inevitable. I'm going to find out things that no one else is going to find out about because I'm spending time in front of the mic, you know, working the room
That's a good
properly.
analogy. Yeah, I can see
Have you ever seen me look like I'm working?
You know what? When you're on stage,
I don't know.
Yeah,
No, we went to your office at Fox Sports the last time we had you on the show, and you never looked like you were working ever.
Well, I was entirely disengaged there. So Pete was at a show, full disclosure, this Saturday that just passed. And that crowd was hammered. Hammered.
Where were
And
you?
it was
Where, yeah.
New Orleans.
and it was
Oh,
at the
that was
Civic
just this week?
Theater.
Yeah.
And it was a bipolar. This guy wrote a great book, Birdies for Bipolar.
Yeah, Birdies for Bipolar.
That's his charity, and he's a pro golfer that has bipolar disorder, and he writes this astounding book explaining amphetamania, the depression, like grabbing his dad and throwing him into fucking closets and going to the hospital and the psych wards. And this crowd was like, most of the crowds were like friends of his, like golf tour guys who were like on the way into the theater, like, look at that, you want to fucking chug? Like they were just crushed before I even got up there. And the gal who was helping him run the show, so everybody, a third of the audience knew them. So there's a little like carte blanche there. And it was like, talk about herding cats. It was just, they were all over the place, yelling shit out. And then Pete was there, and I was so glad you were there because at the end of the show, some guy starts doing Walken, like do Christopher Walken. Yeah. And then I start to tell the Christopher Walken story, and the guy goes, "No, the part where your dog doesn't have a tail." And I go, "This is like reading to my 5-year-old son. It's probably on the next page."
Yeah.
Like, then what kind of party is it? I don't know. Let's turn the page. A dog party. Like, it's the bit.
Exactly, yeah.
And now he's already spilled the joke, punchline. And then I went, I told what I loved, what the kid wrote in his book. It was something like in the back. He had a fit of mania. Michael Wellington?
Mike Wellington.
Oh, he was just on your podcast.
Yeah, we just did him. He's not been.
Mike Wellington he was in a fit of mania. He grabbed his dad and just fucking beat the shit out of him and threw him in closets in the kitchen. His mom goes upstairs and calls the cops. The ambulance comes. They put him in the ambulance, and he wrote. I read it on stage. It was 3 sentences, and I started crying.
Man.
But I read it to you, I think, and it was the first time I'd read it without cracking up. It was one of those things that you read where you go, "Oh my God," where you just like either have to circle it and you just keep going back to it in any great novel or whatever. And that crowd that was all over the place. I talked to you last night, Petey, on the phone. It was as if they had sat themselves in a perfect shape of this table rectangle in this theater, and it was fucking silent.
Yeah.
And nobody moved. But nobody moved seats. But I'm looking at, bang, like a giant rectangle of people. Like they all scrunched closer together. But I know that
Leaned in, huh?
I know that didn't actually happen because there's a balcony and there's people over there and there's people at the bar. And it was just one of those things, like close with sentimentality instead of the joke every time. Comics out there, so let me tell you the first time I performed at the Punchline, and then just going, I'm just so grateful, thank you. And what are they going to say? That wasn't funny?
Yeah,
because you're telling them something personal. I don't know what the point of that was, but I was just, you were there.
Yeah, you changed the whole room because they were rowdy. There was an
because
active
the
party
wrench
at the bar.
The kid.
Yeah, the kid. They're Kamasha. Yeah.
Yeah. So your job is to go and find the bombs and get the intel. And now you're on your knee in front of a fucking 6-year-old and he's giggling. And people go like, he's not even fucking doing his job.
Right.
But they don't know you're doing it. You're now reading the book on stage, or Chris Farley standing on the stool telling the story.
Yes.
Okay.
Nobody's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on a fucking stool. I have to tell them on the way up, I'm a wrestler and a surfer.
Yeah.
I got it. Don't worry.
Yes.
Because then whenever I go up and stand on the stool, they're like, "Why, be careful."
Yeah.
So you do that with the wrench, and then what's the next step after that? You go, "Oh, you're like a wrench. Where are the fucking bombs? Don't fuck with me."
No. Yeah. That's the end of the show, though, right? So the show takes 6 months
Skipped
to
a couple
write.
steps.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Pete has a much lower hourly rate than me. 6-month gig.
yeah, the cost is higher. That's for sure.
Yeah, your overhead's nuts. To
Yeah.
bring Pete in to take bombs out is much more expensive.
No, I don't want bombs to come back at me. That's the main thing. I'm trying to make sure everybody's cool with me. So you're smiling, you're high-fiving. You're telling as many of those. I've got a bunch of those other kind of jokes. Like, I'll learn how to say sunburn. And so when I go to hug somebody or whatever, I'll like jump back, and then I'll say sunburn, and then everybody laughs because it's not true. All those kind of things. It makes people move in a direction that they weren't going to move on their own. And now I've created an emotion, and then I work from there. And how
I
this
called
is.
this joke "Winter in Kabul."
I like that nighttime DJ voice you put on it. Yeah, Allison Steele, the Nighthawk. Just a little Steely Dan for you. But you said something. You take them someplace. They
weren't planning on going.
But you didn't say that. You said that they would not go. I
Well,
think.
they wouldn't go on their own. They wouldn't choose that path.
However, when you did it, they did.
Yeah, and it's like a keto, so I've got their
It
energy
isn't-
going in a different way.
That's the It's judo, jujitsu. It's aikido. It's wrestling.
I just got to get them to make the move towards me, so I initiate.
They
that
want
by-
to.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Is what you're doing when you call that kid like the wrench and take a knee. It's like when I do readings with people.
Yeah.
They just open like a flower in like time-lapse photography, and it's just that one. You got to find that one domino, and then they go, I've always wanted to just giggle with a big fucking goofy white guy from the West.
Yeah.
And they just start telling you shit.
Yeah.
And then they kidnap him and kill him because they talk to you, but doing a heck of a job, Brownie.
I ask opinions a lot too. Shunu Rayak is the question in Iraqi Arabic. But what do you think about that? And they'll say, wait, what do you mean? What do I think about it? I'm curious what you think. And then now they have to respond because they want to give me their opinion. It doesn't matter what they say. And I'm going to take that and shape that whatever way I want. So they'll give me a response. And then now I have a whole litany of questions to guide them to the area where I want them to be.
You said something to me. 'Cause now there's a channel right here. You feel it right here, between me and Petey. You said something to me just there. It hit my radar. Like whoa.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they say or what. However you just said it. Of course you do. That's why you're there.
Yeah.
But you just said, like, you want to get your thing out. So to get your thing out, you make them at ease by them sharing information they wouldn't normally share.
Yeah.
And I don't even care what that information is essentially what you just said.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
You should maybe start caring about what that information is.
No,
St. Francis of Assisi.
I do care what they say. It doesn't matter to me what it is. I'm going to riff off of that. They're going to take me in a direction.
Right.
And I'm
saying instead of the riff, have the ability to wall off that riff. If that information that's coming to you, as maybe as inconsequential as it is, you can file. So 2 months later, you go, how's your mom?
Oh, yeah, no, it's all in there for sure.
You just said you don't care what they say.
At that moment in time, yeah, everything's all in my head. And that's how I riff off later on. It's like, yeah, I do remember those things.
Yeah, it's hot as balls in here. Jesus. I have my water bottle down my back.
But the point isn't that I don't care. I always care. And I take time to slow down. I take time to smile. All those things that are uncommon in combat patrol. Smiling is rare, you know.
It's a sign of weakness. It's like the hood.
Yeah, yeah. But
in the book Clockers by Richard Price,
yeah.
Don't smile and please and thank you is a sign of weakness down here.
Well, yeah.
I read that and I went,
I asked for appointments too with important people. You're an important person. I want to do this culturally appropriately, and I don't know because I'm an American, so I want to make sure I can get some of your time. What's the appropriate way to do that? And everybody respects that. There's no wrong way to do that if you're kind.
You know, I just thought of, and you're obviously exceptional at your job. If you keep asking that kid Wrench just stuff about him, do you like soccer? Who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite this? What music do you? If you could stretch that for like as long, let's say 4 days.
Yeah.
On that 5th day when you go, hey, you know what? Could you help me and tell me something? This kid's already told you.
Yeah.
All he can.
Yeah.
So then the magnitude of you're the guy I think that maybe could help me.
Yeah.
It has so much more weight as opposed to like, hi, how are you? You're funny. Hey, you know what? I need to get information about this stuff. What do you think?
Yeah.
I was thinking like if you could stretch that as long, it's a tenuous task. Because the longer you go, it's like a fish on a line with the wrong test line.
Yeah.
You got a 3-pound test line with a 10-pound fish. Like, careful.
Careful.
If you can wait as long as you can, when you ask that kid or that man or that woman, like, I need information. Could you help me with this? They're going to feel of such service without it being dubious or like, what's the catch?
You know, the thing I try to do is I try not to ask for anything as long as I can possibly stand. If I need to ask for something, I do.
Well, it's like the boomerangs that you throw on stage at the beginning of the show. You're scattering boomerangs, right? And
I'm a
the
prop
longer you can.
Mentally.
I thought he had red hair.
And he rides a unicycle. The longer you can create the anticipation. But the other thing about that is that for the last 4 or 5 days, however long I've been the wrench, I've been Pete's authority on soccer. I've been Pete's authority on my favorite players. He listens to me because I tell him who the best soccer players are. And suddenly
I prefer the football players, but okay.
The authority on things, so that when the question comes, which is the information he's really after, I'm the authority. That's why he asked me, and that's my value that I bring to this relationship. So, you know, I mean, it kind of stands to reason.
That's the word that keeps coming up in my side gig, value.
Yeah.
People don't feel it. Fear is the number one motivator. It's everything. Every disagreement you've had is a fear-based disagreement.
Yeah.
Everybody you know, why don't you just get a new agent? Well, fucking bullshit, because I'm afraid of change.
Exactly.
The end.
Exactly.
Why don't you go see...
I like the stamp.
I was working with this one guy, and he didn't want to see his dad, who was dying in the hospital, and I said, he was absent when the kid was like a kid. And I go, so instead of pissed, it was like, I can't see my dad in the hospital because my sister's a junkie, and I got all these kids, and I run this enormous company. I don't have time, but I go, I just want you to know, you said you don't have time to see your dying father because his time is so limited. I said, instead of angry, can we say, my name is, and I'm terrified to see my father because when he dies, he will have left me again.
So he's got some abandonment.
And then the guy starts crying, and he handed me a check, and I went home.
Wow.
Do people know what the boomerang thing is?
I don't know.
Tell me about it.
Sure.
What is it?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jay.
No, break
My
it down.
friend Darren, break it down, man. Let it be broke. Let it be broke. Hey, Coconut, fuck you. You came over on a boat too. Ragged and a roach. My buddy Darren in Colorado, he comes to all my shows. He's a dear friend. And he goes, you know what, bro? When you do stand-up, it's like you go out there, you throw like 40 boomerangs into the night, and then you start catching them, and then we forget they're coming. And then you catch like 42, like you snuck 2 out.
Interesting.
And I think that's what he was talking about, like when I throw the boomerangs out. Each topic's a boomerang,
Okay.
and they think I forgot it, and then I
There's a
did.
callback.
I
It'll be
did
back.
forget it,
Okay. Oh, you did.
but I'm empty. I'm empty.
Okay.
There's no monitor, so eventually it goes, hey, the acupuncture, you never finish this up. I go, all right, so acupuncture, and then that gets a laugh.
Okay.
Because they never know when the boomerangs are coming back. I've learned more from people talking to me last summer. My friend in Portland, he's a cop. He goes, you know what, talking to you is like hummingbird photography. And I go, but when I land, he goes, whoa, when you land, you're fucking beautiful. Just give me a heads up. It's exhausting. I was like, wow. So those 2 things happened in July, and that's me. A pain in the ass, though.
Now, you seem like somebody who clearly studies human behavior.
Yeah.
Do you think that comes from all the years being a comedian and an actor?
I think it was by being a comedian. Actor, you have to study a human's behavior that's fictional and apply it, and then react only to the human being across from you. So that's stimulus response. But as far as a comic goes, you do it without realizing you're doing it. Like you put me on stage at the Apollo. If you woke me up from a nap and said, we're on our way to the Apollo, you got to do 45 minutes, I would just go, okay.
Yeah.
Because human behavior with no fear tells me nobody goes to a comedy show because they don't want the guy to do well.
No.
I don't look like the audience looks. So I'm going to walk out on stage and go, first of all, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here either. Now they're behind the mic with it's all truth. So I do study. And then my own personal things that I like to study is, yes, like being in recovery and helping people get sober and being of service, having a sponsor. In AA, you must take that fearless moral inventory, make amends unless the amends would hurt the person you're making the amends to. You get a lot of information when you go up to somebody and go, hey, remember that time? That is the measure of the man. And, a divorce like that, measuring, I can't fucking leave. I can't fucking leave. You don't leave. You can't leave. I can't leave. And then when you actually take that step, that impossible step from your own home
That you built.
that's you studying your own human behavior, so then you see in other people what you have and what you don't have and stuff. So yeah, I it's my number one thing I like to study. Yes.
I've noticed, I think of myself as somebody who studies human behavior all the time. Like, I'll meet somebody and we'll be having a conversation about something, and I'll say something about them just after just a few moments, and they'll be like, how did you know? I'm like, there's traits. Everybody has certain...
The flower opening.
Yeah.
In time, they want to. You didn't.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed, you said to me when I came in, John, if I was okay because I look like shit. No.
He did, though. He did.
No, hang in there. I was defensive at first, and then I looked in the mirror, and I honestly set my alarm for 11:40 for a 12:30 podcast. Got in my car, came right here. I know now from studying human behavior, what bothered me about that was it was entirely true.
Interesting.
And I know what my lapse right now that I can say to you, make this amends to you right now. My lapse was, the expression "consider the source." It's always a negative connotation.
Oh, okay.
If John tells me I look like shit, John loves me. So instead of getting defensive, I should have said, "Oh, wow, let me look in the. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even look in the mirror yet. I haven't looked in the mirror yet today." Because you're not going to say that to be a jerk. You love me, and I love you. But like that was a perfect encapsulation of me. I got away from myself because I would like mania, like finding parking. I saw Pete down there. There's a lady from OWN. I'm like, look, I got the OWN app on my phone. I love Iyanla. And then you go, you look like shit. And I'm like, well, fuck you too. It's like, no, if I could have just whoosh, rewound all that, I would have said, thank you. I haven't slept much because I've just been fucking. But yeah, so my own human behavior, when you're aware of it, when you get sober specifically, you have to be so accountable. And I had this tweet a while ago. When you assume that you're the problem, it's with incredible clarity you see when you're not. So, like, you leave a job and a marriage, and all, to the outsider, it's like, this guy's having a midlife crisis. No, this guy realized he has fucking value, and impossibly, these two different streams, one of revenue and one of love, are coming up way short of what I'm actually worth. And if they met 10%, I'd still be there.
See, it almost sounds to me like as if you're channeling that, let me put myself in your position type of thing sometimes.
You have to.
You know?
How will you ever understand anything? Pete has to put himself in an Afghan tribal leader's situation. I gotta fucking look. He's a big lummox. Like he don't sneak around. Like there's guys that are like SEALs and shit and Delta Ops. They're kind of wiry. They're like wiry dudes. They get big beards and they throw shit over their head. You would never know. You cannot conceal the great white gorilla coming down the dirt road. They start hiding their bottled water. So. You know what I mean?
Y'all got food?
It's true.
So Pete, upon entry, is an outlier, all capital letters. So he has to immediately and way more quickly get that truth out and somehow put these people at ease because he's also dressed like he's from fucking Tron. Meaning what we wear in combat. I mean, there's guys in pajamas holding fucking rocket launchers and they get in a Datsun pickup truck and they bounce and they're kicking the shit out of us intermittently. And Pete comes down with night vision goggles. Like you're
noon.
Right, but it's like you're
to the planet Rock.
and you don't stop. Planet Patrol is my dude. You better put me in your fucking movie just so we can talk. Planet Patrol.
Yes.
Damn.
You know, actually,
Cheap thrills mean nothing.
Yes.
when I'm on patrol, I typically, I absolutely can't do it, I wear a ball cap. I got a helmet with me in case some shit jumps off or whatever, but I want everybody to know that I'm different than the guys I'm rolling with. I'm one of them, but I'm not them. And I want my guys to also know where I'm at, too, because I'm not really a combatant most of the time. I might have a revolver, but my job, or some kind of gun, but my job is not to be shooting. So I roll around ball cap, T-shirt. Everybody else has all that shit on. I'm the first guy to take all that off and look at, and just be human in that case. And what I'm trying to do, and kind of like you guys talking about channeling things, I'm trying to find out how to frequency hop. So I gather perspectives. Like you and I are very, very similar, Hilliard. But Hilliard's a black dude from a different
that's
part of the
Hilliard?
than me. Yep.
So then you're John.
You're homosexual. I'm not. All these things that are totally
Or
different about
so
us.
he says.
So far.
Well, I'm done with
I
him.
have slept with more girls than boys, but that's an interesting.
Wait till I get through. You'll be fucking gay. Don't worry.
But the point is that we are very, very, very similar. The same kind of music. I mean, the shirt you're wearing resonates with me instantly. But you've got a completely different perspective on how to get there. And I love that. I love to gather that. It's almost like being at the optometrist where he's like, how does it look now? Like, just because I can see one way doesn't mean I'm seeing the right way or the best way. And so if I can hop over to like your point of view and still get to where I'm trying to go, then I'm golden. I don't need my way to work.
I'm a workhorse. You know what I mean? I think that I have that philosophy that as a black man, and then fucking add the fact that I'm a gay black man. You got that whole.
He's on the down low.
Don't tell nobody. No, I'm definitely not on the down low. Everybody knows. But the fact that I have that, what I call that 2-for-1, you know what I mean? I got to work even harder, to get into the room. And like that's why I work, 7-8
That's
days a
interesting
week,
though, because nobody knows you're gay until you, like, I didn't know you're gay until you said it, because I know I'm in the national minority. I don't fucking care. So the black you can't ever conceal.
I never get out of rid of them.
I thought you were Puerto Rican.
Oh, if he was Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rico.
Why are you so thirsty? But what you said about having to get in other people's shoes, see it from their side. So when Pete comes in dressed like Tron in the middle of the day, coming down a dirt road as an American soldier, and by the way, you sell yourself short. You don't engage and fire your rounds, because then your job is completely finished, because they know he's just
he'll
like
shoot too. He's just like that.
I know he will, but the minute don't pull the banger unless you plan to bang. As the moment you pull that fucking trigger, you cannot get a single fucking thing done, and that's why you're there, is to get intelligence, gather trust. Who's going to trust the big fucking white guy that just shot at us?
Yeah.
So, but you do have to get in other people's shoes. And so when you're what fascinates me about Hilliard, that just came out here in our little time travel bubble we're in, you created characters. You began to write them, and then they started walking away from you. They're not real. And they fucking left you where you had to have anxiety over, I'm going to take what I wanted to do and put it away, because these people I've created that are not real are telling me, no, man, I don't get down like that.
Yeah.
So you follow imaginary characters that you created, which is like
I didn't
other
think
level
about
Buddhist monk meditation.
Yeah.
You create, you meditate until the person actually manifests themselves. And that's that you've created a truth. That is the definition of an alternate reality. Because before you got this job, these people didn't exist. They still don't fucking exist. And you think about them every day. You know what they're wearing.
Yeah.
What's number 3 in the call sheet? What's that character's name?
Miles.
So what size suit? Around.
He's about my size.
How the fuck do you know? These are not real people. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
this, how quick?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. And I think people need to tune into that frequency because you say you frequency hop.
Yeah.
I do it in stand-up. You do it in your job.
Yep.
And you're doing it. But what's fascinating about you, there is no frequency until you sit down and create one. There's always going to be comedy. And that theater, there's a frequency. There's people drinking. There's anticipation. You just got a bunch of suits on a hill waiting for the next Adam Sandler movie. And you go, oh, by the way, me and my imaginary friends.
Yeah.
So you're other level, man. You're transcendental. I said that like Tracy.
Yeah, you're transcendental.
My man was quoting Planet Rock. They went all the way up Bloomfield Avenue. Bloomfield, Belleville, North, all rock to the Planet Rock. Yeah, that's DJ K. Slay's my father. Yeah, he owned 2 bicycles. Upside down next to that Lakers blanket, damn it. Do you want kids?
I did. I had testicular cancer about 14 years ago, and I had to have them removed on both. So now I got these big prosthetics. And
Same. Hold on. That is I'm honored that you're sharing that with me. Same.
Yeah.
Do you want kids? Because what you said afterwards has nothing to do with your answer.
I don't know anymore. I have 2 dogs, and I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
too busy now.
Same thing. My 5-year-old, I just tied him to a fence before I came here. Just let some water out for
I
him.
saw him out there.
You don't know if you want kids or not?
I think I'm.
But you tied it to an illness a moment ago.
Here's why. Let me preface this. So before I did, one of my mentors is one of the biggest producers in town, and him and his husband had kids, and they were telling us when I had this cancer, they were like, well, maybe you guys should, freeze them and save them for whenever you guys want to have kids. And we debated and debated and debated, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna want to have kids after all. And then it was, well, kids want to be adopted. With them, there's so many kids who need to be adopted. So then I started going, if I ever do it, I would be comfortable adopting a kid. For me.
What word did I just write down? One word. It came up already today. Look at me.
Yeah.
I wanted kids. Then I got sick. My friend said maybe freeze your sperm, maybe get an egg fertilized so you and your partner can have a kid down the line. I wasn't so sure. I got dogs. What word did I write? An emotion, one word. What did I write it down?
Damn.
Look at me. What did I write down?
I don't know. Yeah, I can see that.
It's fear.
Yeah.
You can go to the Gladney Center in Fort Worth and leave with a fucking kid in 2 weeks. You get the money. I'm not. There's nothing. There's no comedy. You can have a child whenever you want, and you would be the best case scenario for every single child you could possibly pull out of a photo album of kids that need dads.
I've known Hilliard
don't be scarred.
just a little longer than you have, Jay, and I will say this. You'd be an amazing father.
I know.
You would put
I'm a great father to my kids.
mix this a little bit. You're supposed to keep that mix just down a little bit lower because when the
Make the
chorus
magic
comes in is when I'm really
last
going to
more
deliver
than
the
just
line. You should do it, Hilliard. You should do it. We're all behind you. But seriously, you would give a kid such amazing insight, such amazing influence, and a place where a kid could grow freely into whatever he wants to be because you understand what that freedom is worth. And I'm not going to say, hey, you should have kids.
Do you want kids?
I still
So, hold on.
all there
No.
right now.
What you're saying, nothing you're saying is wrong. Consider the source. Okay? I don't know you very well, but I love you, and you know that I love you. Okay. There is no ambiguity to something this binary, because at one time you dreamed about it.
I did.
So
I did.
your illness is not attached to your passion and your dream. And you've tied those two together out of... Say it. Why won't you say that word?
Oh, I thought I did say fear a minute ago.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not afraid to say that. Yeah.
Stop fucking around and just tell me. Hold on. Do you want kids?
You gonna have brother
Why?
crying all
Look,
in the
what's this? Why, see, Petey? Where'd he go?
He's still John.
Because he
his
was
safe
starting
place.
to get there.
Yeah.
See?
Right, because he was about to say it, and he went to John for safety.
That's real.
I'm not going to answer you again.
That's real.
Right when you were about to say it,
I did.
A reference I don't understand to John
I did.
in real time.
I don't understand it either.
Well, there's
I'm
nothing.
a safe place for
all
a
you
gay
need to
black
understand
man.
is I almost said something that could fulfill a hole that I've ignored for far too long. It's fucking terrifying. So I'm going to go to John and say something else instead. Because I just met this motherfucker and he's on it.
Yeah.
Do you want kids?
Yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Look,
That's fucking
I ain't gonna go
power.
there.
Dude,
Brother be all alone here just crying and shit.
He's making me cry.
I don't give a shit about your past. I don't give a shit about any trauma. I'm telling you. That was.
I'm going to hit this button because we're done here.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
You traveled an ocean just now with me
Yeah.
in 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I accept it. And I love it.
Thank you.
I'm tearing. Like, that was fucking. I don't give a shit why or the how, but I'm recognizing you just went intercontinental emotionally. Value, buddy. You got it. Thank you. That was great.
You know what? We really did something special here today. We really did.
And it's my birthday.
And it's
I
today's
thank you.
I was
birthday.
gonna
Today is
fucking. I
Pete's
went to the
birthday.
liquor store. I got everybody bottles of vodka. Remember, I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
You know what a liquor store in Malibu looks like at 2 a.m?
Awesome.
Closed?
Yeah, if you want to fuck a guy's sandals.
I like sandals. I just wanted to, I wanted to thank all
Happy
you
birthday
guys
to
and
you.
thank Greg.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sweet Pete A. Turner. Happy birthday to you. You never heard the jazz version. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pete. Happy birthday. What'd you say? Happy birthday. One more time. Happy birthday to you. You. Only you. I'm Tony Bennett, and I want Pete Turner to have a good birthday. John looks terrific. You fill out that shirt like Marilyn Monroe filled out a dress.
Jay Mohr, everybody.
What's
Man,
up, Jay?
seriously, Jay.
This is Jay Warner. This is Kurt Warner Moore. Hi, this is Jay Mohr. I listen to the Break It Down podcast because I learn something every episode. Trust me. Break It Down show. You guys really are a joy to listen to.
Thanks, man.
man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about time traveling, stuff, the mind unraveling. I'm feeling better than ever. What's wrong with you? You get down.
Also, listen to More Stories, the More Stories podcast. Get the More Stories app. Jay Mohr, we love you. You know we love you. And thanks again.
A lot of love at this table, man.
Special thanks to, obviously, Hilliard. You're always here. Check out the Screenwriters Rant Room because you guys are always
I
awesome.
can have you on, Jay.
Yeah, we got to have
We'll
Jay
chop it
on.
up.
Oh, yeah.
First I've heard of this, but yeah, whatever it is, yes.
Do good.
It's
Whatever
fantastic.
you need, yes.